You want to give me a one in the chat box. So I'll be in the chat box now, seeing the people that I have here with me, and I want to gauge your energy. I need to know that you're as excited as I am to be doing this today, because trust me, this session promises to be very, very, very fun and impactful. Yes, that's one thing that we do not play with here at 10 Analytics. All our sessions promises to be impactful. All right, so I'm not seeing anything in the chat box just yet. Are we not happy? Are we not happy to be here? So let me just go through the people I have in here. Okay, I have Bayo, I have Ismail, I have Lillian, I have Budupe, I have Nancy, I have Nusa, I have Tolu, and Tolu is our guest. Well, we'll be getting into that pretty soon. So I need something. I need reactions. I need you to just drop a one in the chat box if you're excited, because this session is going to be very interactive. You introducing yourselves to me. So whether we like it or not, you still have to, engage with me. Okay, great. Thank you, Ismail. So Ismail Jabril says one, and that means it's very excited to be here. All right, thank you very much, Ismail. So Ismail, you want to do us the honor of telling us where you're joining us from, and if it's your first time joining a 10 Analytics session, and that applies to everybody on this call right now. So if it's your first time joining a 10 Analytics session, you also want to put a one. If it's your second, you want to put it two, and you want to tell us where you're joining from. Okay, say your name is Jubril, you're joining from the United Kingdom, and it's your first time joining its analytics session. So let me see that in the chat box. Let's be excited. Let's get to know ourselves. That's one thing I really love about virtual sessions. You get to connect with a diverse set of people. You get to connect with people across the globe. So please, I want to know where you are joining us from. All right, so while we're at that, I will just sh share my screen now, and I'll walk us through an introductory part of this session. I'm sure that you must have seen the link to this session either in our community or one of our social platforms. And this session is themed How I Got a Job, My Post-10 Analytics Success. All right, so you'll be hearing from our very own, from our very participants that's walked through this journey. He has walked through this journey, and now he has actually gotten a job in the tech space. So he'll be shedding light to how he was able to do it. Everything that it entails, he will be shedding light to it with us today. So you want to stay focused. You want to stay focused. All right. So I'll still be in the chat box. I'll still be in the chat box checking for that. Well, I annotate my screen now and just walk us through what we have for the day. Um, just give me a minute to do that. Okay. Um, okay. Can we see my screen now? Hi, Jedediah, are you there? Hello, Jedediah, can you hear me?
Yes, but we can't see your screen yet.
Okay. Um, okay. How about now?
Not yet. Okay, it's coming up.
Okay, great, great. Thank you. Okay, so I mentioned earlier the session today is themed How I Got a Job, My Post-Analytics Success. All right, career success. I missed out on that. That's the most important part of it. Okay, and we have a very own person here, our guest, and he goes by Toluwaleke Ogidon. He is a data engineer, and he also graduated from the 10 Analytics Academy far back as 2024, and is here today to actually share with us openly about how that journey has been. All right. So I'll just go ahead to give an introductory as to what we do here at Analytics. Okay, I'll just go ahead to do that while we before we get right into the fireside chat. So what do we do here at Analytics? Who are we here at Analytics? So we are a leading educational technology company focused on providing specialized training in technology skills and delivering comprehensive data consulting services. So now what does this tell you? We do not just equip you with the skills, we provide this data consulting services to companies. Companies trust us and they come to us. You know what? I need data consulting services, and we offer that to them. So we realized that this thing is in demand. We then decided to start equipping people with the skills as well. And we've been doing this for years. We did not just start this yesterday or day before yesterday. We've been doing this for over 5 years, and we've been able to build talents for the technology workforce. We've helped over 3,000 people transition from the classroom into their very first tech jobs. Yes, you heard that right. Their very first tech jobs across the globe. And this is inclusive of the UK, the US, Canada, Europe, Africa, Asia, and a whole lot more. I mean, I cannot mention all the countries that we have in the world here. Okay, so not to worry. Um, it doesn't matter where you're joining us from. It doesn't matter the country that you're situated. We definitely have a market. There's a tech market where you're staying. Okay, and we know how to help you. We know how to help you fine tune yourself, help you brand yourself to suit what wherever country you're in is requiring. Okay, and we are committed to making the technology sector more accessible through premium experiential training in data analytics, business analysis, data engineering, data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, agile project management, cybersecurity, product design, DevOps, and AI engineering. Now you're wondering, oh, she's mentioned a plethora of courses. Which of it do they actually offer at Analytics? As I mentioned earlier, we offer all this courses, we offer all those programs, and we decided to actually check the programs that are in demand. So we crafted each one to uniquely give you that premium experiential training that's going to make you excel while you're at the job. Okay. And you're wondering, oh, what are the people that actually equip me with the skills? Yes, we have our team of instructors from leading global companies like Apple, Microsoft, McKinsey, Amazon, and a whole lot more. So what do they bring to you? They bring the real world experience. It's what they practice, it's what they do day in, day out. So they bring it to you. They let you know, oh, I'm at this job. This is what I do every day. And this is how it is done. This is how I do it. This is how I'm able to navigate. This is how I'm able to navigate that. Do you understand? So they actually bring that real world experience to equip you. And as they say, experience is the best teacher. So this just tells you that you're in the best place possible, and they're going to equip you with the skills that they are currently thriving on where they are also working. Okay. And they are dedicated to delivering an engaging, practical learning experience that ensures that you receive the maximum value from your investment in your future. All right. And you're wondering, oh, it's not just Sophia that is here. I'm not the one that will be driving this session alone. I mentioned earlier that we have our guest here who goes by the name 10Alytics. But I have my colleague here with me, okay? And his name is Jedediah. We'll be driving this session together. So as soon as I'm done conversing with Tolu, that's our guest, I'll be passing the baton back to my colleague Jedediah, and he'll be walking you through a plethora of things as well. So you still want to stay tuned and listen to everything he has to say. So you're wondering, oh, who is the person I want to stay tuned and listen to at the end of this fireside chat? He goes by the name Jedediah, and he's a seasoned technology professional with diverse experience spanning across data analytics, data science, machine learning, and more recently, predictive AI engineering. Okay, don't worry. When you get into the analytics, all these things would not sound like buzzwords to you. I know you're scared. What's machine learning? What's predictive AI engineering? Not to worry. By the time you get in here, you'd actually get firsthand what all of these things entail. Currently, he serves as a senior data associate in the full stack data science team here at 10Alytics. And Jedediah has cultivated a rich background in various roles, and that's inclusive of data analyst, and he's been doing that in the marketing, finance, and education space. He also has a rich background in data science, and he's been doing that in the healthcare, aviation, and business space. And most recently, he also has a very, very rich background in machine learning. So he's worked with companies across the UK, US, Canada, and Nigeria. He currently operates as a consultant and freelancer and is actively contributing to digital transformation initiatives, and has trained over 1,000 participants, and he has further solidified their expertise in various fields. Okay, so moving forward, the next person you're going to see is me. Yes, you're going to see me, and you're seeing me right now, but you're seeing me on the screen as well. Okay, so my name is Sophia, and I'm a passionate educator. I have a diverse background in product management, end-to-end administration, and agile project management. I have close to half a decade years of experience in the world of technology and management. I currently serve as a data associate for the Agile Project Management and Scrum Master program here at 10Alytics, and have been very instrumental in helping individuals navigate the complex tech space. I make it non-complex to you. I make you know that it's very simple. I break it down into baby steps for you, okay? And I've been able to guide a lot of our participants to success by embodying them into their respective data-driven paths, and I've provided the support that they need to actually land their very first tech jobs and also thrive on the job. Okay. And I have a very strong commitment to career transformation. I've successfully onboarded and mentored over 200 individuals, and I've helped them transition seamlessly into tech and secure meaningful job opportunities. Okay. So that's that about the people driving the session today. So now you're wondering, how's the session going to play out? Okay, I know there's something called, the conversation with the alumni. What else is going to happen? Okay, so this session is divided into three interesting parts. And the first one is the fireside chat, which I'll be getting into very, very soon. And you get to listen to our alumni. That's Tolu Walike that I mentioned earlier, and you saw in the very first slide. You listen to him and he tells you how he was able to get to where he is right now with the help of 10 Analytics as well. And the next thing we'll be unraveling is the strategies you need to get into tech and be successful. It's a thing to get into tech. It's another thing to have strategies that would help you to actually be successful in the field. Okay, so we'll be telling you firsthand all of these details. And the third one is the special discount offer that we have for you so you can get started now. So you can be the next Toluwalike on the call and you can share your career success story. And it's not just an ordinary career, a career in tech. I tell people tech is the new oil and gas. Okay. All right. So I'll just get right into it already and I will stop sharing my screen because now we are getting into the fireside chat. Hello, Toluwalike. Are you here with me?
Hi, Sophia. Can you hear me clearly?
You're very loud and clear, very loud and clear. Good to see you again. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm okay. And you?
I'm very well. I mean, I'm all smiles. Good to see you. Good to have you back here. And you're not just coming here as a casual guest. You're coming as a guest that is here to share a success story. How do you feel?
I mean, it's good to be back in 10 Analytics and to have this conversation with everyone.
All right, good to have you here as well. Okay, so the first thing I would ask you is, how has the journey been so far? How has the journey been so far before we start to get into the details? How has it been? Just give us a walkthrough.
So is it since I finished with 10 Analytics or since I got the job?
Oh no, before you got into 10 Analytics, the motivation, what made you
Oh,
even join 10
okay.
Analytics in the very first place, your experience at 10 Analytics and how you were able to put all those experiences together. And now here you are sharing your career success story. So walk us through.
Okay, so to take you through my background. So again, my name is Tolu Aleki, and I have a background in physics. That was my first course of study. And then before I relocated to the UK, I was more like an analyst with Huawei for about 5 years. So I'm not new to working with data, right? So I understand the relevance of analyzing data to solve business problems. So when I crossed into the UK, which is definitely a new market, right? And then I had to definitely, I knew I had the need to strategize to enter the market in the UK. So, but I think what initially opened my eye was while I was doing my master's program, I usually attend tech meetups to expose myself to different stakeholders within the industry. And one thing that occurred to me was the demand for data engineering, especially within my local environment here in Scotland and even some part of a large part of England as well. So I saw the need for data engineering. Then I knew I had to pick a particular field, at least to get my foot into the industry. So I knew then. So initially on my own, I was struggling to learn, try the AWS data engineering certification. I failed it, sadly. Then it was during that process a friend of mine introduced me to 10 Analytics, and I shared my goal of learning data engineering with him, and he was like, "Oh, he just registered for 10 Analytics program, and the registration is closing the following week." And immediately I knew I had to join the following cohort then. So then I registered for 10 Analytics, and I would say the first thing that caught my attention was the platform itself, which was one of the most organized platform I'd seen. In fact, it was the platform that made me register because I know there are a lot of programs, right? And I didn't want to. I've heard a lot of scams when it comes to tech trainings, especially when you're fresh from Nigeria. You're vulnerable to being scammed by a lot of training institutions in the UK. Yeah. So I didn't just want to pay another $1,000 or £1,000 to a training that I won't get the best value from. But the first impression I had of 10Alytics was when I entered the website and I checked the platform, I saw how organized it is, organized into different modules. I can track my progress, I can, you know, and all that. I saw these people didn't just, they're not just trying to exploit anyone. Actually they intentionally pull this platform together to be able to like track your progress and make sure that you actually get the best value from the training. And then I applied for the training and it started. And the first thing that we were told by our instructor then during the training was that we shouldn't wait till the end of the program before we start applying for jobs. We shouldn't wait till we feel we are like we are perfect enough or we've learned all the skills before we start applying for jobs. And during the course of the training, I would say it's very organized. The trainers were very interactive. In fact, you have to attend. They always want to make sure that you attend all the classes, right? And to follow up on the projects. And more so, the courses were actually, I would say, they are scenario based. So they are not meant for you to like learn the skill per se. They are meant for you to apply it to a business case, a real life scenario, which actually helps put you in the stead or put you in a position where you're comfortable enough when you eventually get a job. So that is the way the training actually was designed, which was very helpful and very innovative as well. And I would say the first step that actually helped me was the CV optimization and the LinkedIn optimization. And it was then I knew my CV was shitty, like it wouldn't even go anywhere. So thanks to 10Alytics, to be honest, the CV template really helped me, right? I was able to like formatted my CV in the right way, and before then I wasn't a fan of LinkedIn at all. Like I wasn't, but I think I attended up to like few sessions, up to 3 or 4 sessions of LinkedIn optimization. I made sure even the ones I missed, I will watch the video again, step by step. I had to start, re-engineering my LinkedIn profile, making sure everything is perfect and stuff. And I would say within the first after first month, I started applying for jobs. And before I was done with 10 Analytics, I got about 1 or 2 interviews already. And
Wow.
yeah, I got like 1 or 2 interviews already before we did our internship within 10 Analytics. And I would say one of the things that also helped aside the training were the fact that the scenario based um, projects that we did was serve as a portfolio for me. And I also go out, I have to also go out of my way to, while we're learning, I was curious about other tools, I could be learning about Apache, Spark. Then I'll be doing projects on Kafka. I just was exploring doing projects on my own as well to put in my portfolio. Then I wasn't just doing those projects alone. I was visible on LinkedIn as well, publishing some on LinkedIn, as a report, and then that got a bit of attention and stuff. So I would say it's a combination of many strategies, right, to getting the job I got. So one thing that helped me was not shying out of applying for jobs, even the one I feel I wasn't like qualified for. As long as I know I have a foundation, now I have the core skill. Because in data engineering, there are some core skills that you need to have because different organizations have different tools that they prefer. So some might want to use Fabric, some might want to use Databricks, some might prefer Snowflake for their data warehouse. But there are certain fundamental skills that if you have, then at least you can learn all those tools as a build up to that. So once I got the foundation of using of Python properly, PySpark. By the way, the first time I was exposed to PySpark was when I attended 10 Analytics. And right now on the job, PySpark is what I use the most for transforming data. PySpark, SQL, and exposure to database. So it kind of like give you the foundation for the kind of data engineer you want to become. Because as data engineer, you can choose to become a cloud data engineer or you choose to work with open source tools. But the 10 Analytics program is very elaborate that it gives you the foundation for all. So I think after about 15 interviews, all in total, I was able to get one with Ofwat, which is water regulation in civil service in Birmingham. So I had to relocate to Birmingham for the job, and so far it's been so good on the job. I mean, I was able to like adjust very fast because the major tool that I use is PySpark, and I was already familiar with that. And though the Fabrics platform that they are using is a new tool, but I've been learning on the job, and I'm coping quite good.
All right. Thank you very, very much for that, elaborate one. And if it shows that, you're speaking from a place of things that actually happened and you're not just making these things up. So at some point when you were talking about, the program exposing you to a lot of things and it gives you that reason to even broaden your horizon, get to learn more, get to even do personal learning and all of that. You then mentioned foundational learning that you need to have some basic foundational things that you need to have at the back of your mind before you even delve into the data engineering course. As you were saying it, I was gonna stop you and ask you, okay, was Tenalytics actually able to equip you with those foundational skills? But even before I could ask, you already answered the question. So thank you so much for sharing so openly. I mean, you've walked us through your background, how it's like now, how the value you got from the Tenalytics program as well, and how you were able to, cross all the hurdles. It's not as easy as everybody thinks it is. You mentioned you had to do about 15 interviews, you had to apply severally. I mean, it was a long run, but eventually you got it. And I could tell from when you said it's a very good one. And that means that the pay is also very good. But I understand that we may not want to say all of that on the call. I'm really, really happy that you're where you are right now. So now how would you describe your skill level, right? Your skill level at the time that you joined Analytics to where you currently are at the moment. Say from on a scale of 0 to 100, how would you describe it?
So when I joined Analytics, I was only familiar with I would say Python and SQL. I was comfortable with. But on with Tenalities, I got exposure to PySpark, all the different cloud platforms were covered, and I noticed it was through Tenalities I also got exposure to Databricks, and with Databricks I did a couple of projects, and we all know Databricks is one of the
All
tools
right, thank you very much for that. So,
that lots of organizations right now. So, but I would say before Tenalities, on a scale of 0 to 10, I would say maybe I was a 4. After Tenalities, no, I would say 3. After Tenalities, I would say I was a 6 and 7. I was comfortable.
okay, okay, great. Thank you so much. So what part of the training, what part of the program itself helped you grow the most? Is it the learning content? That's the data engineering content. Because there are a lot of things aside just equipping you with the technical skills. There are employability skills, the mentorship session, you have your LMS as well, where you can go through, your self-paced learning and you can always come to class. Or is it the flexibility that comes with learning, knowing that you can go about your day-to-day on weekdays, then you come to class on weekends to actually learn? What part of it did you feel like, do you feel like spoke to your need at the time and made you really, really thrive and saw the program through to the end? And do you think that there are other parts as well, maybe the mentorship session, all these mentorships, right? Telling you that you can get started, you can thrive in the labor market, all of this basic employability nudging. Which of it would you say actually spoke to you and really impacted you?
Well, I would say that's a difficult question, to be honest. You are asking me a very, very difficult question. And the reason why it's difficult is because every of every of the parts of Tenalities actually spoke to my need at that point in time. First of all, when it comes to the flexibility of the program, I was at the point where I had other jobs that I was doing, right? In the UK, we know how it is. Sometimes you want to pay your bills, and and it wasn't a tech job I was doing at the time, but I want to like try to get into the market, get into the industry here. And I still have to like work to pay my bills, right? So it was difficult. I won't say it was easy, but the flexibility at least made it suiting a bit. It made me able to be able to like plan my schedule. So I know if I'm not able to do anything during the week, on weekend, I can rewatch the videos and catch up with what is happening. So that apart, so I can't say that helped me, but I can't say is the best part that helped me. I can speak of the scenario-based style of the modules as well, because that also in itself gave me a sense of ability to apply those skills in a real world situation. And I won't say that also is the best part of the analytics. I can also speak of the CV optimization, which I told you, really helps me. The LinkedIn optimization helps me a lot. Every part, I would say every part of the analytics program actually shaped, helped fine-tune me into, it even gave me the momentum to, and confidence to be able to even face interviews and get the role I got.
All right, thank you very much for that. So can you still hear me?
Yeah, I hear you clearly.
Okay, great. So you mentioned my previous question was difficult. I have a more difficult question. You know something about data engineering? A lot of people shy away from data engineering. They're like, you're putting data and engineering in the same sentence. How do they coexist? I mean, data is one buzzword that a lot of people do not even want to hear. Now adding engineering to it as well just makes it feel like it feels like an equivalent task, and a lot of people do not even want to, near that program at all. So how would you say that you were able to come to the resolution that you wanted to go for data engineering? How were you able to be sure that you know what, this is the career path I want to follow through to? What did you consider your strengths? Did you consider your weaknesses? I mean, what just gave you that drive and motivation to say that, you know what, I'm going to do this and I'm going to excel at it? And look at you, you're actually excelling at it. And I know that there are even more better opportunities awaiting you because your skill level, your expertise, your experience, it keeps evolving, it keeps growing. You're not where you used to be. So what part of it would you what do you think actually helped shape that decision? Spill, please.
Well, to be honest, it took me time to make that decision. I was very intentional about it, and I will speak for myself. So, of course, everybody will have their individual opinion on that. Personally, I'm the kind of person that number one, I shy away firstly from anything that has to do with user interface. So I'd learned Power BI in the past before data analysis. In my last role, when I was with Huawei, for 5 years, we do a lot of analysis of data, dashboard reports and stuff. And it's not something I want to be doing on a day-to-day, doing dashboard. So I already ruled out full blown data analysis, as part of it. Though I do it as part of my work, on the road. I work with Power BI as well sometimes.
So, okay. Abiolu,
I'm sorry about that. Please go ahead.
When I'm required to on the role, which I'm still going to speak about that also later. But I would say, firstly, I love anything that has to do with logic, transformation, writing transformation scripts and stuff like that. And I also see data engineering as a sweet spot for me because I have interest in other aspects. I have multiple interests, let me just put it like that, but I can't be everywhere too, because, when in industry you have to focus on one thing first. I know that for sure. But then I know personally I love learning different things. I love learning many things at the same time, and I don't have that focus. So data engineering is kind of like as out of all the data careers is one of those that will require me to learn many things, which are those things that I really love. So it gave me a taste of backend engineering through a querying database with Python and SQL. It gave me a taste of cloud engineering, working with different cloud platforms. It gives me a taste of DevOps because sometimes you have to, in fact, on my role, I had to read some DevOps scripts using Bicep to provision the data platform. It gives you have to understand how to use Azure DevOps and GitHub Actions and all those DevOps tools, which I also love learning. So it's like my eyes are everywhere, and I love it with data engineering because it's, keeps me on my toes to learn, to have a bite of all these different like tech industries, which also I feel will give me the flexibility in the future to, cross into any of those fields. So tomorrow I can wake up and be like, I think cloud, I just want to fully working on cloud services. Data engineering already gave me that foundation. I could choose tomorrow and say, oh, I want to be a backend engineer. Or I'm already exposed to working with APIs, Python and SQL. I could choose tomorrow and be, I want to be a DevOps person. Data engineering already given that exposure to working with Azure DevOps and different like DevOps platforms. So,
That's correct.
so I already saw data engineering as that sweet spot for me, and I can even choose to be a data scientist, having data engineering as a background. And these days, now we have something called AI data engineering. So we are not just data engineers now. We're not just developing ourselves in developing data pipelines. Now we are developing AI pipelines, right? Not just DAG, we're working with RAG as well. So data engineering is a very good field because of the kind of foundation it can give you to cross to every other field that you might want to, especially if you're the kind that you are kind of indecisive about where to go. Is a very that was majorly the reason for my decision.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing so openly once again. So, what advice would you give someone that is over the fence now, thinking, should I get into data engineering? Would I thrive on it? Okay, Tolu Alike is doing it, and it seems like he's having so much fun doing it. What simple advice would you give that person?
So I think the first thing is the interest and determination. We all know that is the seed you have to sow first. So if the interest and determination is not there, don't bother at all. Go and find something else. But if in your heart you told yourself, "Oh, I'm interested in this field and I'm determined to do what it takes to actually, learn and get by and fight for my place in the industry," then I believe you should go ahead with it. Just give it time, learn, practice as much as you can, work on projects. And then with analytics is with the platform you have a lot of scenario based courses, activities, very interactive. Even with the internship that we did, we had to collaborate, which is what pretty much you're going to be doing in the real industry as well. It's more collaborative, so it's what's actually venturing into if you have the interest.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So you're indirectly telling the person that you can do it, and by the time you get your interest, you get your motivation to do it, the best place to do it is 10 Analytics,
Yeah,
correct?
sure,
Is that
sure.
correct?
100%,
All
100%
right, thank
recommended.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so, so much. Okay, so now let's talk about your facilitators, right? The people that taught you while you were on the job. When I was doing the introduction earlier, I mentioned that we have facilitators that do these things day in, day out. There are people that do this job. So they bring their practical learnings, the things they do on the job. That's what they bring to you in the class. I mentioned that. So what do you have to say about the facilitators? Do you think they were really helpful? And did the blended learning approach help you? The case study, you've been mentioning that a number of times on the call. So do you think that your facilitators were actually really helpful and they were able to actually blend those case study approach, get those case study scenarios to help you to build your portfolio? Would you say that they really had a very high impact in that aspect?
I mean, first of all, I will always mention the case study thing because, to be honest, that is one of the uniqueness of 10 Analytics program. I can bet you. I mean, I won't say, yeah, I've done a couple of training in the past, and I've seen a lot of training being done, which I wouldn't recommend. But with analysis, I would say, I was quite impressed because you see that case study thing that I keep mentioning. I would say is one of the selling points, and it's one of the unique factor because at the end of the day, we all know how learning test skill can be. If you can, there's something called tutorial. How they used to call it again? Is like it's like a tutorial loop and a trap, tutorial trap. You can be in a tutorial trap. You watch the tutorial videos, you go to this tutorial, and you're soaking everything in, but you still feel you can't do anything with it. It's a very common, like it's a common thing in tech when you're learning a new skill. You can get trapped in a tutorial hell. They call it tutorial hell, right? But with analytics, it's never going to be the case because you're learning Python and you're applying it immediately. It's not like you're just learning syntaxes and after the whole program, you can't even you learned it, but you can't apply it, right? But with the case study thing, it's more like you're learning it, soaking it in, and applying immediately to a case study. And um, with the facilitators, I would say they are very, very helpful because it's a combination of like different styles, right? So we get videos, we watch videos, and the fact that the platform is there for us to access anytime. Then we come on weekend with first of all the videos on the platform have the scenario at the end of the video tutorial itself. So at the end of the tutorial, if you're learning Python on the platform, LMS platform, there's a tutorial to end it with. I mean, there's a scenario based scenario to end it with to learn how to apply the Python skill. Then on weekend, we still treat an elaborate scenario again altogether, and we still apply the same skill. So it's such that through the LMS platform, you soak in the skill with the scenario-based application. On weekend, again, we still come together and the facilitator will solve a problem live, interpret the scenario, solve the problem live with you, and it will soak the skill in better. And before you know what's happening, you have the more confidence to be able to like on your own, maybe looking through a practical scenario, get it, fetch the data, then practice and do a personal project, and with that you have increased confidence to be able to like speak in interview. And the way interviewing is in the UK, yeah, interviewing in the UK also is scenario based. In UK, when you're doing interview with them, they want to hear, oh, they won't ask you, have you done this? What they want to do, they want to ask you is, how have you applied the Python skill? And there's a template you have to use. And we learned that with analytics as well, how to respond to interviews appropriately. And it's all scenario based, right? In interview, they want to see in what scenario did you apply this? What problem did you solve? How did you solve it? And what was the resolution at the end of it? So, and I would say the way the facilitators handled the training was tailored towards how we are meant to face it also out there.
All right, thank you very much for that. So to blended approach of the program, we've not spoken about the career prep sessions. That's the mock interviews, interview prep, the drop-in sessions. Can you elaborate a bit on that? Can you shed some light on that? Drop-in
Um,
sessions and the mock interview sessions. When you have an interview and you get to speak to the facilitator prior to the time, how did that play out for you?
so I would say I did only one mock interview, right? And the mock interview was more like an alarm. It's more like a town cry. Uh, Interview don't show. Sorry for speaking pidgin. There's interview. Oh, come and help me. Oh, how do I do this? I'm helpless. Please,
Mm.
So I think we're not done. We weren't done with the training yet when I got the first interview, and I was like, "Ah, am I gonna?" I was scared. I don't know.
You had wobbly
I
feet.
didn't know. Like it was my first technical interview in the UK for that data engineering role, and I know definitely it won't be the same case with interviewing back in Nigeria. It's a different ballgame entirely. So I had to do an interview session. I remember then with one of the facilitators, and they were very helpful in building my confidence. They told me what to expect, the kind of thing, and they told me to calm down, like relax, and just and they told me confidence is the key, and just speak about what you know, speak confidently about what you know, and apply the formula that we've learned in the interview sessions, and yeah, and with interview, something about interview is the more you interview, the more you get confidence, and to do my interview is more like a skill on its own. That's what one thing I've learned.
Yeah,
So there's some people that
yeah.
will know. So there's a difference between knowing everything, doing everything about the field, knowing everything about how to apply the skills, then interviewing. So interviewing is more like a presentation skill. Like, you have to, I was told that I have to present with confidence, show them my value, apply the formula and stuff. And it was quite a long journey and quite rewarding as well.
Right. Thank you so much. I can tell that you're even an expert when it comes to interviews because the way you've been relating with me, if I was interviewing you today, I mean, for a job, I would increase the pay of the job. I can tell, I can see that, smooth communication. So I can tell that you've actually gotten a whole lot. I can tell, I can tell. All right. So, I mean, if I say I should go on and on, we literally would not stop today. And I can tell that you're also speaking from a place of that's a place of knowledge and a place of actual experience. So, on a final note, how do you feel now, knowing your background and how you've been able to, just build build to where you're at right now. So what would you say to someone that is watching right now that is still unsure, reflecting from your own personal journey, letting them know that it's possible?
Well, I think, I mean, the
Hello, Tolu.
when it comes to tech right now, I don't think anybody should there should be a doubt in anybody's mind whether to be in the industry or not, because I don't think it's even a case of should that anymore, because we know the transformation happening right now with AI. So it's a case of you get involved or you get eaten up right now. So and it's going to really impact a lot of industries. So um, I would say anybody that have an interest in joining, I would say they should be very proactive and join through analysis and just learn as much as they can, get the right foundation that you need, because it's going to be an interesting future. I mean, with AI these days, even I myself am on my toes trying to learn more, get my, try to stay relevant, learn everything I need to learn about applying data engineering and in the AI world, everything I need to know about, automation and stuff, solving problems, helping businesses, helping the business guys, get the best out of their data and solve their problems. So I think it's not a question of should I anymore right now when it comes to tech. It's a question of how can I get involved.
All right. Thank you so, so much, Toluwalike. So Toluwalike is indirectly telling everybody on the call now, involve yourselves in tech. Thank you very much, Toluwalike. So I have a bonus question, even though I said I was on the final note. What's the best part about pivoting from the classroom into your very first data engineering job? What's that unique thing that just fills your heart every time you try to reminisce on your journey so far?
Uh, is it based on my experience right now on the job?
Hello, Tolu, are you there? Yes, they are based on your experience and knowing that you actually pivoted from the classroom directly, more like you jumped a gutter, you just went from the classroom into your first data engineering job. How does it feel? What's the best part of it?
Oh, okay, so I think the best part would be solving problems right now, to be honest, because while I think I was just fixated on the data engineering tools, but in the industry, you will get called businesses care about the problems first. They care about the problem first. For instance, I didn't bargain to learn Power App. The first thing my manager was telling me is, oh, um, for some business guys, we need to get data from them from this other organization, and we need to design a Power App to get Power. I was like, I didn't put Power App on my CV. He didn't interview me for Power, but then I knew how to solve that particular problem and get that out of the way. I had to learn Power App. So when it comes to Power, I told you I didn't like designing dashboard and stuff, but there's a problem that needed to be solved. I had to learn Power BI and a whole lot of other, but the joy is the fact that I'm equipped to solve problems and solving business problems, and the way they see you as one magician, stuff like that. So it's quite cool and fun.
All right. Thank you so, so much. And thank you for gracing the 10 Analytics invitation today. It shows that we've put a seed in you. That's why you're able to grace our occasion despite your very busy schedule. Thank you so much and for sharing openly. We really, really appreciate you. So that will be all. That will be the end of our fireside chat. Now I'll be passing the baton back to my colleague Jedidiah. So if you've had an amazing session so far, or better still, even before I release you to Lualike, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so let's see if we have questions from anybody in the audience. So if you have any questions, you want to put that in the chat box so that Toluwaleke is able to answer it before we release him to get back to work. So if you have any questions, you want to put that in the chat box now. We'll be keeping an eye on it and he would just answer the question. So say in the next 1 minute, if we get any question, it would help us with an answer to the question. And if there's none, we will just bid Toluwaleke a very good goodbye and thank you for making it down here. So what does this whole conversation say to you? And I mean from everything Toluwaleke has been hammering, he says tech is not something you even have to bargain to get into because it's what is happening now, it is what is reigning now. And tech is literally in everything that you do. It's literally in every aspect. Okay. So it's not something that you even want to think about twice. The earlier you get into it, the better for you. And that's the same thing that Toluwaleke has been saying to us all day. And if Toluwaleke can do it, you definitely can do it. Okay. So you can connect with him via LinkedIn, connect with us at 10Alytics as well via LinkedIn and just, get inspired and hear a whole lot more. But before you do the connection, my colleague Jedediah is here to spill a whole lot more, right? Even though we are done with the festive season, we are still in the merry period. We have, a discount for you. We have an offer for you to help you quickly get into tech. So if finances is the problem, we've made it easy for you. Okay. So you'll be shedding more light into it. And also you'll be taking a career quiz where you get to know the tech field that actually speaks to you. Okay. So you just want to stay till the end. That's my audience. Are you listening to me? You want to stay till the end of this session. It promises to be so much fun and it's going to be very enlightening. You get to know the things that you did not even know that you have in you. All right. So, Jedediah, are you there? I see we have no questions. So Tolu Aleke, I'll just say thank you very much once again. And that will be all from me to you. So Jedediah,
All right.
you have
Thank
the
you.
floor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Sophie. Thank you also, Tolu. It's been an awesome session. It's really been wonderful listening to Tolu through the session so far. It's been an interesting conversation. It's been, a very wonderful chat. And I'm sure we've picked up a thing or two. I'm sure some of us are already inspired to, start our tech journey just as Tolu has. And we are interested in actually securing our own, slots, securing our jobs, just as Tolu has done, and would like to get started as quickly as possible. All right, very quickly, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to move on with the rest of the conversation. Now, one thing I can assure you at the end of the session today, you're going to be working away with expert tips on how you can actually make this transition into the tech space, just like Tolu has done. He has shared with us a couple of things around his experience, his transition journey, application process, um, interview, and even landing the job eventually. He shared a bit about, the fact that getting into the tech space is relatively easy if you have the right kind of support, if you have the right kind of resources at your disposal. And that's what we make available to you here at Analytics. And in a quick moment, we're going to be discussing how 10Alytics can actually help you through this transition journey and how we can help you make it through to the end, right? Getting you to also land your own job in tech, just like Tolu has done. So just give me a quick moment to pull up my screen. So okay, yeah. So I believe everyone can see my screen at this point. Sophie, can you confirm that for me, please? Hi. All right. Now, like I said, one thing I can assure you of is that at the end of this session, you would understand how you can transition into the tech space and how you can actually land your own very first tech role, just like Tolu has, right? We'll be discussing how you can go into the tech space, how you can navigate the tech space, and how 10Alytics is going to be helping you to do all of that. Now, I'd like to throw a question to everyone on the call right now. Tolu spoke a bit about his own journey. He told us he, moved to the UK and was looking for a job that allowed him to, leverage the skills that he had in analytics while working with Huawei and even getting into the data engineering space. Now, for you, what exactly is your motivation? Why do you want to get into the tech space? I would like you to just go on to type that in the chat. For some of us, it might be that, oh, I want to learn, I want to see how I can apply some tech into my business. For some people, it's, oh, I'm trying to get a job so that I can get my permanent residency abroad. For some people, I'm just looking for a job that pays in dollars. I'm just looking for a way that I can earn more, right? I want to switch careers. I want to be able to earn more, right? For some people, they want to completely make a shift from the current careers that they are in. For me, it was the money. All right. I don't know about you, but for me, it was the money that attracted me into tech. So I'd like to hear from you. Why do you want to get into the tech space? And I would like for you to type that in the chat. Or you could also grab a book up pen and just write that down because it's information that we're going to get back to later on. Right. So Leah says she wants to switch careers to land a job that sponsors. That's fantastic. All right. Olu says, I want a complete Swift and money. Interesting. So I'm seeing that Olu is just like me. I want to establish my own prop tech business and I need to gain knowledge on how to go about it. That's fantastic. Now, each one of us has unique reasons for being here today. And we have, unique and individual reasons we want to get into the tech space, regardless of whatever it is, right? There's a perfect fit for you. There's a track that is going to be ideal for you as you want to make this transition, as you want to go through this journey. Now, you might also be wondering, what track might be right for you and is this actually in demand? Tolu has shared with us how he transitioned into the data engineering space and how he also realized that there was a huge demand for data engineers in this space. So how exactly can you also make that transition, and what assurance do you have that if I get into data engineering, there's actually demand? Tolu has told us he got multiple offers. He went through multiple interviews, which means that lots of organizations are actually recruiting for these positions. So if data engineering is not the track for you, maybe you are considering, business analytics. Is this the right track for you? Is this something I can get into and I can actually land a job, right? We here at Analytics have done extensive research to make sure that whatever you're going to be trained on is actually a track where you can land a job. It's a track that is in demand and you can actually land a job in. What we've done is look at multiple job boards like LinkedIn, Google Jobs, Glassdoor, and the likes of them, right? We've looked at multiple job openings and we've analyzed what kind of roles are constantly popping up, what kind of roles are organizations constantly in need of, and what kind of skills are they requiring from this position. So if business analytics is a particular position that's constantly popping up, what skills are organization asking for in terms of the business analyst that they actually need and want to hire? Data engineering keeps popping up. So what are the kind of skills? What tools do they require an ideal data engineer to have? Now, besides doing this, we've also done some external validation. So when we scraped through all of these job boards, we were able to come up with 10 tracks that you can actually move into and you are guaranteed of demand in the market. Now, while we were doing all of this analysis, we considered three major factors, all right, while we were doing this analysis. Because for many of us on the call right now, we are coming from various backgrounds. A lot of us do not have a technical background that makes it, a conventional tech or IT background. So how exactly can we transition into this space? While we were doing our research here at Analytics, we made sure that we were looking out for three major factors or three major conditions that we considered while doing this research. The first is whatever job tracks these are and the tools that are required for these roles, there has to be an ease of learning. All right. Now, when I say ease of learning, it's relative to your current background. You can easily pick up these skills and actually get into the space. right? That's one major factor we considered. All right. Now, if you compare these tech spaces to something like medicine, you want to become a medical doctor, that takes years of learning, years of practice. We considered something that's a lot easier to learn, relatively easier to learn, right? And you can learn in a much shorter period of time rather than 6 years in the university. Another thing we also considered is ease of transition. Can I actually move from one space into this one, learn the skill, learn the ideas, and actually move into this space? That's another factor we considered, ease of transition. And then the third, which might be the most important for some of us, is the high rewarding salary. We wanted to make sure that whichever track you are trying to get into is one that is, one, in demand, two, it's also going to yield you high rewarding salary. And with all of this in mind, we were able to come up with 10 tech tracks, from business analytics to agile data science, data analytics, data engineering, and lots more. Now, after we did all of this research, we also validated it with some external information. What we did is we looked at, job openings, regional job openings. So we looked at, regions like the UK, the US, Europe, around Africa. We looked at, the startup culture, evolution of the tech ecosystem, and lots of that. And we also looked at a very, you know, um, very vital report. We looked at the Future of Jobs report, which is basically a report that gets published every year by the World Economic Forum. Now, this is a global organization that looks at, the global employment market and analyzes them, looking at jobs that are going to disappear, as well as jobs that are going to, stand the test of time, stand the test of changes in the market, evolution, introduction of AI, and the likes of that. What kind of job roles are still going to be in demand despite this evolution and changes that are happening in the employment market. And after doing all of our research and validating with this report, some of the data that we came to realize is that in the next 5 years, that's between now and 2030, over 170 million jobs will be created. Despite the burst of AI, that is actually leading to the creation of a lot of these jobs. Over 170 million jobs are going to be created. At the same time, over 92 million jobs will disappear. So while we are seeing jobs disappear in the market, we are seeing that this analysis, this statistics is telling us that nearly double the amount of jobs that are disappearing are actually getting created. So newer roles are coming into the market to replace the ones that are disappearing. So how exactly do you prepare yourself? How exactly do you position yourself for the changes that are happening in the market? If your previous job is amongst those that are disappearing, how can you position yourself to get into the roles that are being created in the next decade? Is this making sense to everyone? You can type a one in the chat if you're still on track with me. Just type a one in the chat if you're still on track with me. Fantastic. Okay, Akokolo is just one link, all right? It's the same link that's repeatedly posted for those that have missed it. So if you fill the attendance form once, you don't need to fill it over again. All right, fantastic. Now, just like I explained to us, 92 million jobs are disappearing and over 170 million jobs are being created. Now, which one of these jobs are actually topping the rank in terms of jobs that are in demand and are continuously going to increase in demand over the next 5 years? We've seen trends in the data engineering space. I mean, we've heard Tolu's story. He shared with us how even while he was still on the program, he was already getting interviews which he was sitting for. So that just tells us that there are lots of opportunities in the market. We see positions like data analytics, data science. You see positions like cyber security, business analytics, DevOps. You see positions like data analytics, um, Scrum, Agile project management, and the likes of that. These career paths are predicted or forecasted to increase in demand. They are projected to increase in demand over the next couple of years. So you can tell yourself with a level of confidence that getting into this space, I am guaranteed that there's demand for these roles. And if I learn these skills, I can actually land a job just like Tolu has done. Right? There's a lot more: data analytics, data engineering, agile project management, business analytics, and so on, just like I've discussed with us. Now, 10Alytics has crafted our programs to be structured amongst the top career paths that are in demand. At the same time, like I explained to us earlier, while we were scraping these job boards, we also took note of the skills and tools that were required for these positions. And that's what you are going to be learning about as you engage with 10Alytics. So now we've come to understand that there's a huge market out there that we can actually benefit from. There are lots of opportunities that we can actually benefit from. Plus, there's a huge demand and it's projected to continuously increase. All right. These career paths are projected to continuously increase. Now, how exactly can we make that transition? We now understand that these tech tracks are in demand. We also understand that they are projected to continuously be in demand and are going to be amongst the 170 million jobs that are getting created in the next decade. So how exactly can we position ourselves for these positions? All right. Employers simply want two things from you. All right. That's what we have observed. Employers simply want two things. Number one, they need you to have this skill. They are employing you to get work done. They are not just employing you to fill benches. They need you to have the skill. At the same time, before they can have confidence that you have this skill, they need to see some proof of competence. And one way you can portray that is by showing experience. They need skills and they need experience. That is what employers are looking out for when they want to hire candidates. All right. Skills and experience. Now, how exactly do you get these skills and experience? Here at 10Alytics, we've come up with a simple formula, right? A three-stage formula. The first stage is to learn, all right? And just like we've discussed a moment ago, these are career paths that are already in demand. So you are sure that if I'm going to learn something new, I want to transition into a new space, I would want to look at these top 10 career paths that are in demand and are projected to continuously be in demand. All right. So you want to learn. That's the first stage. Right? That's the first stage. The second stage in this formula that we have designed is to ensure that you are packaging all of your learning. You're packaging not just your learning, but you're packaging yourself as well. You're packaging yourself for the market. You want to make sure that you are employable. And how do you do that? You start by revamping your CV, making sure that the CV you have is designed for the role you are trying to get into. I'm trying to get into data engineering. I'm trying to get into cybersecurity. You have to make sure that your CV is designed and tailored for that position that you're trying to get into. You can't be going for a data analyst position and you're presenting a nursing CV. Of course, you are not going to get the job because that CV is not designed for the role you are trying to get into. So how can you package yourself as that data analyst that will get hired? You start by revamping your CV. You also optimize your LinkedIn profile. Tolu has told us how he, enjoyed the benefits of LinkedIn, right? How he got to engage with other people just like himself, how he got to engage even with recruiters. I've had a similar experience, right? I've gotten job offers through LinkedIn, jobs I did not even need to apply for, right? Companies, recruiters were literally reaching out on LinkedIn to offer the position. So you need LinkedIn as well as a stellar CV to package yourself for the position you are trying to get into. You also need a solid portfolio. Because for someone like you who is trying to get into the IT space, you don't have any prior IT background. You're trying to get into cybersecurity. You're trying to get into, agile project management. You do not have any prior experience in this space. How exactly can you show your employers that, yes, I have learned this thing and I don't just know it in theory, but I actually have practically worked on projects using the tools that you require on the job? Tolu has given us a hint as to how the program is structured. He explained to us that in every one of the sessions, in every one of the live classes that you're going through, you are actually working on case study based projects that continuously get added to your portfolio. All right. So it's not just for say. We are not just saying it, it's practical. And Tolu is a testimony of that. All right. Now, besides that, we have structured mentorship sessions as well as interview preparation sessions when you actually land an interview. Tolu has shared with us his own experience, right? For the interviews he had, even while he was on the program and after he had moved to internship, he could book an interview preparation session where an expert guided him right through what kind of questions to expect, as well as how to correctly answer these questions. Right. Tolu told us about the mentorship sessions, right? He said he missed a couple and they were recordings that he could catch up on, take notes, apply them, and that helped him in his transition journey. All of these are part of your packaging journey. It's part of the packaging formula that helps you to land a job. We also have job references and on the job support even after you have landed the job. So if the organization is asking for a reference, oh, have you used this tool before? Is there any evidence? You show your portfolio. Where have you done this before? 10Alytics can actually provide a reference letter for you. Now, after you have learned the skill, you've also packaged everything. You are employable. You are ready for the job market. What you want to do is to go on to start applying. You want to apply like a machine. Yes, there are lots of offers on the in the market. There's a lot of demand, and so you need to ensure that you are also, marketable. Ensure that you are open to a lot of these opportunities, and ensure that you are positioned as the best candidate for these openings. And how do you do that? You start by tailoring each application. Yes, you have a stellar CV, but for each job you are applying to, you would need to ensure that you tailor your CV for the specific position that you are applying to. You never reuse a CV. All right. And we would actually be training you on how you can go about revamping your CV, ensuring that it's tailored for each role that you are applying to. We'll also take you through how you can go through quality applications per day and how you can tap into paid and hidden job market. There are actually jobs that are constantly being, as much as there's demand in the market, a lot of these jobs are hidden. Not exactly hidden, they are actually made available on premium job sites that usually require you to pay in order to access. Now, what 10Alytics has done is to provide a way that you can access that without needing to directly pay. And I'm going to be discussing how you can actually do that later on in the session. So I would need you to pay really close attention as we go through the conversation in this session. All right. Now, going through this formula actually prepares you for the market and ensures that you are ready to secure a job and you'll be able to secure your own job just like Tolu. Now, how exactly can you apply this? We've had multiple students that have been able to, apply this same formula: learn, package, apply, and land a job. This is Bukola, for example, that took the business analysis program, learned with analytics from the July cohort, right? Was able to tailor her CV, join more mentorship sessions, applied, built a portfolio, applied. She got multiple jobs and tailored her CV for every specific job. And she was able to land a job in the business analysis space exactly 1 year through after her training, 1 year from when she started her training. All right. We've seen people like Abednego, who went through the data analytics track. All right. He was in August 2024, got a job in June. Follow through the same formula: learned, packaged, right? Had a stellar CV, built a solid portfolio, joined the mentorship sessions to learn a lot on how he can get into this space and position himself for the opportunities in this space, right? We have people like Ramat, this is Christian. We have Gad, who also went through the data engineering program, was able to.
Yeah.
All right. So we have Gad, who was able to. What's that? All right. Sorry about the interruption. So just like I was saying, we've had Gad, who was able to go through the data engineering program, applied the same formula, and was able to secure his own slot in the data engineering space. Now we have multiple people on multiple different programs as well who have applied the same formula, secured their jobs as well, and would actually be taking you through how you as well can go through this journey and secure your job in the tech space. All right. So how exactly can you do this? I explained to us the three-step formula, right? You learn, you package, and then you apply, and that will lead you to landing a job. So how exactly do you start your learning? You first of all have to start by identifying which tech track might be right for you. Which tech track is the perfect one for you to get into? Which tech track can you get into, following that three-step formula again? Right? The three criteria I pointed towards earlier, right? Ease of learning, ease of transition, and a high rewarding salary. All of these roles present multiple opportunities for you, but there are multiple factors that you need to consider in order to make that final decision. For example, your current journey, your current career path. All right. Do you have transferable skills between the current track you are in and the one you are trying to get into? We heard Gad's story. All right. He was already working as in some kind of an analyst position in while he was working in Nigeria. And when he moved to the UK, he was able to make an easy transition from that position into the data engineering position. All right. Now, that might not be the ideal role for you, depending on your current, career path, depending on your, current experience, your background as well. All right. So how exactly can you decide on which one might be right for you? What we have done here at 10Alytics is to design a special, package for you. We have a special quiz that you can simply go over, and that would help you to be much more informed as to what tech track might be right for you and how you can make this transition into the space. Now, while you can be able to do that later on, what I'm going to do is actually take you through a brief overview of some of these tech tracks and how you can actually make your transition into this space. And I'm going to be starting with the business analytics and agile project management tracks. Now, these two tracks are ones that are focused on processes and project implementation. All right. The Agile Project Management track is one that's focused on the implementation and delivery of a project, the entire life cycle of a project, from when it gets initiated to breaking down the entire bulk of the tasks into manageable chunks, to assigning responsibilities and managing, the deployment, development, and release of the individual units of the projects that you are working on, right? On the project management track, you'd actually be learning about tools like Confluence, Jira, and Trello. You'll be learning about Agile and Scrum. You'll be learning about project management methodologies and how to structure, how to manage projects. So if you are someone who has the coaching spirit, if you're someone who is a people's person and you understand how to manage processes, you understand how to manage projects, implementation, you understand communication, and you understand how to manage people, then the project management could be a right track for you. And if you're someone who is more process oriented, you like to streamline processes, you like to maintain or look into, the process of doing something and you want to see how you can make that optimal, or you're someone who is more business oriented, you like to discuss business, you like to discuss applications, you like to discuss stakeholders, you like to be amongst meetings, board meetings, you're someone who is very vocal and can manage processes, then the business analyst position is one that can be ideal for you. Now, this involves managing processes. The business analyst is someone that stands as a bridge between the technical team and the stakeholders of a business. So they bridge that gap between what the stakeholders are expecting and what the technical team is meant to develop. Right? If this is what the business is expecting, then the business analyst is able to communicate that effectively to the technical team, and as well communicate whatever needs the technical team has to the business stakeholders. So they serve as a bridge between the business and the technical team. So if you're someone who is process oriented, someone who has that coaching spirit, right, you can consider between the business analyst and the agile project management track. And if you're someone who is interested in the actual technical work, you actually want to get into the field, you want to work with data, then there are three tracks that you can actually consider: the data engineering track, the data science track, as well as the data analyst track. Now, one more thing we've observed in the market is that a lot of people, especially people with a science kind of background that is not exactly IT, tend to have an easier transition into these spaces, right? If you have a prior background in, say, mathematics, for example, or physics or statistics, economics, we tend to see a lot of people like that having an easier transition into these spaces. Now, one more thing you need to understand is that these three experts work with data. However, their interaction with data is quite nuanced. The way a data analyst would work with data is slightly different from the way the data scientist would interact with data, as well as the way the data engineer would also interact with data. These three are experts on different levels, and I'm going to be breaking down using simple analogies how they actually interact with data. Take the data analyst, for example. This is an expert that's focused on answering two major kinds of questions for a business. The first is what has happened. So they can look into data and tell you, oh, in the past week, we've had 10,000 people that have gotten jobs. We've had 200 people that have bought products from us. We've had, we've made $1 million from the East. We've made 35 new customers from New York. All right. They can look into data and be able to extract insights like that. They can tell you, oh, what we are observing is that there's a consistent decline in the number of customers that we are having. Our customers are gradually churning. They are gradually, stopping to use our products. We have a lot of people that are not renewing their subscription. A very good and practical example of what a data analyst can do is a very practical example of something most of us experienced towards the end of last year. If you had a Spotify Wrapped or a YouTube Wrapped, or I think Netflix also had a Wrapped, just type a 1 in the chat. If you have something Wrapped at the end of last year, can you just type a 1 in the chat? Just type a 1. Maybe you had a Spotify Wrapped, YouTube, whatever it might be. Right? I think LinkedIn also had a Wrapped. Practically everyone was, wrapping up the whole year, right? That's an example of something that a data analyst can do. That's information that's being derived from data that has been collected for an entire year. All of that data already exists, has been collected, and has been stored, right? All that data analysis is simply doing is looking back at that data and seeing what kind of information can we get. All right. Oh, Ade has listened to this song 100 times. All right. Tolu has seen this movie or has seen this genre of movie the most. All right. All of that is what a data analyst can do: extract insights from data that already exists and can explain what has happened over time and why these things happened. On the flip side, we have experts like the data scientists who can also do those same things, but they can do a bit more. They can actually predict what is likely going to happen in the future. Now I'm going to use the same platforms again: Netflix, YouTube, Spotify. As much as we've seen, the job of the data analyst in the Spotify Wrapped or YouTube Wrapped, how many of us have experienced maybe Netflix recommending movies similar to the ones that we have seen already? If you've experienced that, just type a one in the chat. Or Spotify has recommended a similar song to something you have listened to. Fantastic. That is what a data scientist will do. All right, that's the kind of work a data scientist is involved in. They develop predictive models that can predict, oh, Ade is likely going to enjoy this kind of song. Ade has not listened to this song before, right? But based on all of the data that Ade, or all of the data about the kind of songs that Ade has listened to, we want to predict what kind of songs Ade would most likely enjoy, right? We want to predict what kind of movies Ade would be interested in looking at, right? And when it comes to the business setting, we want to be able to predict what kind of products our customers are likely going to buy. That way, we can tailor their shopping experience. We know that Ade is someone that likes football. Based on the data we've collected about Ade, he likes football. So if we are presenting products around football that he has probably not seen, he's most likely going to engage with that. We're able to predict that Ade is likely going to buy this kind of products. That's the kind of work that a data scientist does. It applies predictive modeling and programming languages like Python to develop predictive machine learning models that can forecast future outcomes based on patterns in data. Now we understand what the data analyst does and how the job of a data analyst is nuanced from that of a data scientist. They might be using data, right? They might be using the same data, but the nature and context of their work is slightly different. Now, on the flip side, we have the data engineer, who is an expert in pipelines. The focus of the data engineer is not on analyzing the data, it's not on predicting any model. It's simply on making sure that these data scientists that needs to develop a predictive model and the data analyst that needs to create a report or a dashboard has access to the data that they need in order to do these things. The data scientist needs data in order to develop this predictive model. They need data to be able to say, oh, Noel is likely going to be interested in watching these kind of videos on YouTube. So it's very important that we analyze this data and then make that prediction. Now, the data engineer is responsible for making sure that that data that the data scientist needs is available to the data scientist. The data that the data analyst needs in order to prepare your Spotify Wrapped, it's the data engineer's responsibility to make sure that it's available to the data analyst. All right. If all of this is making sense, just type a one in the chat. If you're still on track and you're following, just type a one in the chat. So these three experts, all right, are professionals in working with data. However, the work that they do is quite nuanced between the data engineer to the data scientist to the data analyst. Now, we also have the financial analyst and HR analyst, and these roles are quite niched. Think of them as, professional data analysts who are focused on specific niches. Someone who can analyze data, uncover patterns, look into observations, and explain why certain things are happening within a business. However, their focus are on analyzing data within the financial space or the HR space. All right. If you look at the key learning areas for both of these tracks, you see that they have certain things in common, and as well in common to the data analyst track, things like problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL, right? These are key data analytics tools. However, there are specific learning areas that still, create a delineation between these tracks. On the financial analyst track, the focus is on analyzing data in the financial space. So if you're someone who is an accountant and you are looking to leverage that skill, that knowledge in the tech space, then you can consider the financial analytics space that gives you an opportunity to leverage your financial analytics knowledge as well as getting equipped with data analytical tool set, allowing you to get into the tech space, especially in the financial market. And if you're someone who is in the HR space or you are in a people resource position with prior experience in this space, or even a teacher, right, by profession, right, preferably for people who are in a position where you interact with people, where you manage people, then the HR analyst position can be a good fit for you, where you get to leverage some of those skills you already have, as well as optimizing and improving on them by picking up data analytics tool, allowing you to work as a HR analyst. So we see how this demand is continuously, improving in the market. In today's world, practically every sector needs analysts and data specialists. I can tell you that for a fact. Practically every sector. If you think about it, even in religious organizations, I mean, the church still, keeps records of, how many members attended church this Sunday, how many people attended last Sunday. Are we having more people coming to church, or are the numbers reducing? How much was put in offering last week? How much do we have in total in terms of offering that was put in the church and tithe? And how much can we put into, helping people? How much can we put into outreach? How much can we put into maintenance of the church and the likes of that? So you see how the role of the data analyst is very practical in practically every industry, in practically every sector, from education to engineering to healthcare to practically every industry. And we have specializations in HR analytics, financial analytics, business analytics, and the likes of that. And all of these tools, all of the skills you're going to be picking up can actually be applied in multiple industries and domains. All right. Now, with all of that, we also have the cybersecurity space. Now, the cybersecurity expert is someone who is focused on securing and safeguarding systems and digital assets within an organization. Now, when I say digital assets, I'm referring to, any kind of, valuable assets, any kind of valuable belonging of a company, from things like intellectual property to, codes that are running within a company. Maybe the company runs an application, a tech company, the code that's running their application. They need to secure that, because if someone else gets access to that, they can go on to, create their own version and become a competitor in the market. The company also needs to secure data about their customers. There are governing bodies that are strict on ensuring that people's data are properly used and managed, and only necessary data is being collected. All right. There are lots of things about you that's happening in the market. There's lots of information about you in the market that a lot of times you are not so much aware of. And a lot of times, a lot of organizations use these data that they have to engineer your engagement online, to, your engagement on the market, the kind of things you buy, the kind of movies you watch, the kind of music you listen to, right? Whether you realize it or not, a lot of these organizations are able to influence your activity on their platform based on the data that they have about you. So they would need to ensure that this data that they have about you is properly secured and not being made available to other people without proper consent. There are bodies that are also governing access to data like that. All right. I've explained to us how Netflix recommends movies to you, and you go on to watch this movie. Whether you like it or not, Netflix has influenced your decision to watch that movie. All right. Spotify recommends a song and you go on to listen to the song. Whether you like it or not, Spotify has influenced your decision to listen to that song. All right. So how exactly do organizations like these secure things like their data, things like the code running in the background, and other kinds of digital assets, ensuring that no one can hack into their system and, cause a mishap, or take advantage of things. Banks need to secure their system so people don't, break into accounts and steal properties, right? And steal money or, move things around. So how do they do that? They do that by employing cybersecurity experts that secure and safeguard the systems within an organization. And this is the kind of work that you'll be doing getting into the cybersecurity space. Now, besides that, we have the DevOps engineering track. Now, this is one track that is focused on development and deployment. It serves as a bridge between development and operations. All right. You get to learn about things like Linux, you get to learn about things like Git and GitHub, deployment, unit testing, and the likes of that. The focus here is on making sure that whatever is being produced, whatever is being developed is a market fit. Whatever is being developed is built in such a way that it meets the demand of the market. All right. And that's the major role of the DevOps engineer. They want to make sure that whatever gets developed can work in whatever platform. They want to make sure that, when we deploy our application, someone can download it on their Android device and actually make use of it. Someone else can download this on an Apple device and make use of it. Someone can access it from their web browser and actually make use of it. Someone can actually engage, making sure that when we develop a predictive model and we deploy it, right? For example, when YouTube develops that model that's able to predict what videos you would like, they want to make sure that it's actually working correctly. And that's where the DevOps engineer comes in, making sure that there's a continuous loop of ensuring that there's improvement. We've deployed this model, it's working in this particular way, but we've noticed that it's not doing as well as we expect it to do. So we need to create a new loop to make sure that we bring it back, make it better, improve it, and then we push it back out again and get it to do the work that it is meant to do. That's the kind of work that a DevOps engineer would be involved in. However, this work can be technical and would require some prerequisite knowledge, some prerequisite development knowledge. All right. So this would be most likely preferable for someone who might have had some prior development or prior tech background, some exposure to some of these tools, and can actually get into this space. Now, we also have the product design. All right, we have the product design track that's focused on human or user interfaces and human experience. Right now, we are having this call on Zoom and we're having lots of interactions. We want to be able to send comments. We want to be able to send reactions. We want to be able to, see the host. We want to be at the same time be able to see what the host is sharing on their screen. A product designer is someone who was able to manage or design all of these interface in such a way that the user can easily navigate, can easily interact, can have, a conducive experience using tools like this. Now, the product designer is not responsible for developing it. They are not responsible for building the application itself. Rather, they are simply responsible for designing the interface that the user actually interacts with. They're responsible for designing or designing the interface as well as building um the user experience, basically ensuring that the user experience is optimal and that they actually have a swift and enjoyable experience using an application. Not that you open the application it's like everything is haywire, you don't know your way around, you cannot navigate anything because it's too complex and there was no proper design done on it. So you'll be learning about product design as well as how you can go about doing this. This is a very useful tool, especially in a world where startups are continuously being sprung up, new products are continuously being put up on the market. You want to be a part of the design process, ensuring that whatever is being put in the market is something that's actually useful to the end consumer. You'll be learning about things like Framer, Figma, Notion, and a lot more. You'll be learning about how you can leverage AI tools like Cloud and so much more. These are all of the 10 tech tracks that you're going to be getting into or you can get into as you train with 10Alytics. And like we've seen earlier, all of these tracks are in demand, and you can actually get into and you can go through the first stage, which is to learn. And that's what 10Alytics is here to help you do. Please type a 1 in the chat if all of this is making sense and you're still with me. Just go on to type a 1 in the chat if all of this is making sense. Thank you, Adi. All right. Fantastic. 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 Now we've gone through the first part of the formula, which is the fact that you need to learn. All right. The second part of the formula is you need to package what you have learned. You need to be able to package everything that you have learned. You need to be able to show competence over credentials. And this is a mantra for us here at 10Alytics. Competence over credentials. Like my Nigerians will say, right? Show workings, no be cho cho cho. Am I correct? Am I correct? My Nigerians will say show workings, no be cho cho cho. It's not just by saying it. You don't just say it. You have to show evidence that you know these things, that you can actually get it done. So how exactly do you do that? For someone who is just getting into the space, I am just learning about data science. How exactly can I show a company that I know about Python? I can develop predictive models. I can run machine learning. How exactly can you do that? Right? You do that by building experience. And there are two ways that here at 10Alytics will help you to do that. The first is by helping you to build a standard portfolio, right? When we went through the formula, learn, package, apply. At the packaging part, I showed us that every single one of the examples that I showed us earlier, every single one of them had a portfolio of projects that they had worked on during their learning time here at 10Alytics. And just like we heard from Tolu earlier, he also shared how he worked on projects in practically every one of the live sessions that he went into, plus all of the projects that he worked on his own as well. All right. So we expose you to a lot of resources. We expose you to, extra materials that you can actually use in your learning, and would show you how you can go on to build a portfolio for yourself that you can present to recruiters, to present to employers as proof of competence. So you're not just saying, I know data engineering. You're not just saying, I know cybersecurity. You're actually showing practical examples of, oh, this is what I've worked on. I've built machine learning, models before. I've built dashboards before. I've done financial modeling before as a financial analyst. I've, managed an end-to-end project lifecycle. I've built a project charter before. I've gone through stakeholder management. I've managed Scrum meetings. I've managed, Scrum boards and the likes of that. How can you show proof? You do that by building a portfolio. So we train you on how you can do that. These are a couple of examples of some of our students that have been able to do this. And this is how you build experience. Now, one more way 10Alytics helps you to do that is by, attaching you, getting you into a 2-month period of internship with our partner organization, Amidari. So at the end of your training, you have a unique opportunity to not just have 10Alytics reflect on your CV, but also Amidari showing up on your CV. So you have that reflecting on your LinkedIn profile, on your CV as well, showing that, oh, I've gone through this training with 10Alytics. I've learned about this. I've worked on these multiple projects at 10Alytics. I've also worked on these multiple projects at Amdari as well. So you have a unique opportunity of having 10Alytics as well as Amdari reflect on your CV. And for those of us who are interested in, UK work experience, Amdari is a company registered in the UK. So that gets to reflect on your CV, and that gets to show up as some UK job experience. So all of this is intended to ensure that you are well packaged for the job market. All right. I've discussed how your learning journey goes through the multiple learning tracks that you can actually get into. I've also talked about some of the ways you can package yourself, from having a stellar CV to optimizing your LinkedIn profile. And now we're talking about building a portfolio and going through an internship that makes sure that you are job ready. This ensures that you are ready for the market and employable. Now, what is next? Now, what is next? What's next is for you to actually get started. All right. And what you want to do in order to make a final decision. For some of us, we've already made up our mind. All right. From the conversation, some of us have already made a decision on what track we might be interested in getting into. So if you have made up your mind on what track you might want to get into, I would like for you to type that in the chat. If it's data analytics, data science, data engineering, cybersecurity, project agile and scrum, project management, business analytics, financial analytics, HR analytics, product design, DevOps. Kende says he wants to be a unicorn. You want to do everything. That's interesting. So I see iPhone here. I don't know the name. iPhone says data analytics. Dogara says financial analytics. Christina says data analytics. If you've not yet made a decision, you can just type none yet. You can just type none yet. If you are not sure which one you want to get into, you can just type none yet. All right, that's fantastic. Fantastic. Now, what you can do is to scan the code on my screen right now, and you can go on to take a quick personality test that we have specially designed here at 10Alytics to help you get into the space, to help you make that decision as to what track might be right for you. So all you have to do is take this quick personality test where you answer a couple of questions, and you'll be getting some guidance as to, what track might be right for you based on your past experiences and current job or career path, and you'll be seeing how you can actually make this transition into the right track, the best fit for you. My colleagues are already sharing the link in the chat. You can simply click on it and go on to take the quick test. It takes a couple of minutes, and you would have some expert guidance on how you can actually transition. You can as well book a one-on-one session with us where we can have a proper conversation guiding you through how to make the right decision and get into this space. All right. Now, besides all of this, with everything and all the benefits that you're enjoying while you are going on to make that decision, I would like to share with you that there's a unique, special 10Alytics advantage that you enjoy. If you remember earlier, I mentioned certain premium jobs that are not readily available to the public, certain jobs that you actually have to pay to have access to, right? You're not paying to get the job. You're paying to be able to have access to the job before you can even apply and go through interviews, and you're not even guaranteed to get the job. All right. So here at 10Alytics, what we've done is to give you an extra advantage. And what we've done is ahead of time, we've paid on these premium job sites. So we have access to these job openings. We scrape these job openings and make them available to you, students, so you can go on to apply to these jobs. And here you find a plethora of jobs, different nature of jobs, from remote positions to hybrid roles to even roles that offer, visa sponsorship, jobs across multiple regions, Nigeria, the US, UK, Canada. You have unique opportunity of, taking advantage of these, special 10Alytics package that's made available to you. Right? I mean, it doesn't get better than this. And there's more to come. There's more to come. This is just a tip of the iceberg. All right. We've seen all of the benefits that you're going to be enjoying on the program. This is one of them. And there's more I'm going to be telling you about as we go on. All right. So this is just a couple of people that have gone through the 10Alytics program, people who have gotten jobs. This is Shadi, who has gotten a data scientist job in the UK. We have patients who are secured, a job in the UK as well. We have, Oshemi, sales engineer, moved into data engineering. We have Idris, who also got into data engineering. Ikmat, who moved into data analytics, and a lot more. There are so many people. There's so much evidence, right? So when we say show working, it's not be cha-cha-cha, we also have evidence, all right? So we are practicing what we preach, all right? And this is just evidence of people who have actually gone through the program, experienced the learning journey, experienced all of the benefits of being on 10Alytics, and actually securing jobs after their trainings or even during their trainings in some cases. All right. Now, what is the next step? What do you need to do in order to thrive in 2026? What do you need to do today in order to get started on this journey? What you need to do is to join our next cohort, which is starting on the 7th of February. All right, we have a cohort starting on the 7th of next month. If you want to get into the space, just like we've heard Tolu talk about, if you want to go through this journey, package, learn, package, and apply, you want to apply this formula, you want to secure your slot for the next cohort starting on the 7th of February. Now, how exactly can you do this? The current program price is $1,250. That's the current price of enrolling for any one of these tech tracks. Starting on the 7th of February, you get to secure a slot and take advantage of all the benefits of the program and secure a job at the end of the day. Now, while the full price of the program is $8,250, we have a 20% discount currently running. And what that means is you get to enjoy all the full benefits of the program, including the internship, at a discounted amount of 20%. So you end up paying $1,000, saving $250, and you get to enjoy all the full benefits of the 10Alytics experience. Now, there's more to this. You actually have a unique opportunity of taking this $1,000 payment and spreading that in up to 5 months of installments. In up to 5 months of installments. So you don't even need to pay the full $1,000 upfront. You actually have a unique opportunity to spread that payment out and pay in installments of $200 for 5 months. Your training is going to be for a period of 6 months. You have 5 months to go through paying in tiny bits of $200. All right. You can pay the full price upfront. You can pay 2 installments, 3 installments, 4, or even up to 5, a maximum of 5 installments. And I'm going to show us how you can actually get onboarded, how you can actually get started. Now, while we're discussing this, my colleagues are already sharing the link to get started in the chat. Some of us already indicated what tracks we want to get into, from data analytics, data engineering, cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. We have a limited number of 20 slots for each one of these tracks. So if you'd like to take advantage of the 20% discount and be among the first 20 people to actually enjoy that discount, you want to click on the link and go on to the page, which I'm going to be sharing in a quick moment. Now, one thing you should keep in mind is that this slot is only available for the first 20 people. As soon as the first 20 slots are filled up, it goes back to the original price. So if you'd really like to get into this space and enjoy this discount as well as the installmental payment, you want to click on the link that my colleagues are already sharing in the link. And in a quick moment, I'm going to be walking us through how you can go on to make your registration, secure your slot, and be a part of our next cohort that's starting on the 7th of February. All right. So just give me a quick moment to reshare my screen so that we can go through this process together. All right. So my colleagues are already sharing the link in the chat. What you want to do is simply click on it. And that brings you on to this page. All right. What you want to do is simply scroll down. Right? What you want to do is simply scroll down. Once you go on the page, simply scroll down and locate the specific track that you are interested in. So if you're interested in data engineering, you want to locate the data engineering program. All right. If you're interested in data analytics, if you're interested in financial analytics, HR analytics, simply go on to locate it and click on the button to buy now. All right. I see a couple of questions in the chat. All right. I see a question from Noel says, I am good in both project management and HR. That's fantastic, Noel. That's fantastic, Noel. You can go on to secure your slot today so that you don't miss out on the 20% discount, and then go on to take the quiz and validate which one might be the right one for you. And then you can come on to, maybe remain on the one you are currently on, or you might need to, switch to another depending on the outcome of the quiz. Okay? So you want to secure your slot now so you don't miss out on the 20% discount, and then you can come back later. All right, and then switch it. Ojema says, I work night shift. What time does the sessions run? So these sessions happen on alternating weekends. All right. These sessions happen on alternating weekends. So you have the opportunity to, focus on your job. And then on weekends, there are specific time slots that you get to come into the class and actually learn, work on practical case studies. Now, besides the actual live sessions, we have bit-sized watch me do it videos that you get to watch at your own pace, right? The program is designed to be flexible, regardless of whatever your schedule looks like, regardless of whatever your job schedule, work, school, family, and other responsibilities might look like. All right, so you can consider any one of these tracks and take advantage of that. Be a part of the cohort, attend classes on alternating weekends, and then catch up on the bit-sized watch me videos during the week at your own pace. All right. I hope that answers your question. Champion says, hello, please help me answer this question. I want to ask which of the courses is very close to software engineering. I mean, if I learn this particular course, can I also build my own software? Thank you. So we do not have a dedicated software engineering program simply because of the learning curve, right? However, we have a DevOps program, we have a data engineering program, we also have a data science program that allows you to build predictive models, right? On the data science program, you would actually be building predictive models that can forecast future outcomes based on patterns and trends in data. And I've explained with a couple of examples earlier. So if you're looking into a track where you'd actually be developing products, right, where you'd be building something new, right, building where you'd be actually coding and developing something new, then the data science track would be a great fit for you. Tony says, I'm completing MSc in AI and data science. Between Amdari and 10Alytics, which one should I enroll for? Tony, you're completing an MSc in AI and data science. My question to you is this: do you have the skills? Are you proficient with these tools? Right? Amdari is focused on an internship. Do you have the skill set? Do you have the knowledge? Do you have the tools? At Amdari, you are not learning. It's work, right? You are actually going there to apply the knowledge that is expected that you already have. If you know how to develop predictive models, you know how to go about AI engineering, then yes, you can go on to enroll for, Amdari. But if you do not, and you need to actually learn these things, you need to learn the practical aspect of developing predictive models, the practical aspect of data science, then you want to enroll for the data science program at 10Alytics, and that is a two-way bonus for you because you get to experience the learning journey, and once you're done, you get transferred into the internship as well with Amdari. All right. All right, so I'll be coming around to more questions. For now, I want to walk us through how we can go on to secure a slot. So I believe we already have some in mind. You can go on to secure a slot so that you are amongst the people who take advantage of the 20% discount. So what you want to do is simply go on to scroll down, look for the track that you are interested in. My co-host is from the Agile Project Management team, so I'm going to use that track. Let me just locate that. Aha. So whatever track you're interested in, cybersecurity, data science, data engineering, you want to locate it and you want to click on buy now. Now, once you click on the button that says buy now, it takes you on to the next page that simply gives you a breakdown of everything that you're going to be learning, from the cost structure to, what you're going to be learning, the breakdown of the program, the curriculum, and in entirety. And you get to have access to the cost brochure as well. What you want to do once you get to this page is to locate this button that says enroll now. You want to locate this button and simply go on to click on it. Now, once you click on enroll now, it takes you on to the next page that requires you to provide certain details about yourself. Because once you get enrolled, you get onboarded into a special learner management platform, right? Tolu hinted towards this platform earlier, right? He explained to you that you'd be onboarded to a very tailored platform that's designed to ensure that your learning journey is optimal. It's designed to tailor your learning experience, all right? I think Tolu mentioned that that was one of the things that actually attracted him to 10Alytics, just the platform itself, right? Before he actually started enjoying the content that is made available on the platform. So once you click on enroll now, it takes you to the next stage where you are required to provide your details, and that creates a profile for you on a learner's management system that gives you access to all of the learning resources that you are going to be learning on and that you'll be guided through the entirety of your learning journey. So what you want to do once you get to this page is to go on to select the cohort you want to go in for. Like I said, we have a cohort starting on the 7th of February. We have a further cohort starting on the 7th of March. You can go for either one. What you want to do is go on to secure your slot. So you can go on to select whatever currency you are paying in, US dollars or, Canadian dollars or in pounds, whatever currency you are paying in. You can select the most conducive one. I'm going to select US dollars for easier, communication. So once you select the US dollar payment, the full price, like I explained, is $1,250. But with the 20% discount, you get to pay just $1,000. Now, if you decide to pay the full price upfront, you'd actually be enjoying an extra discount. So instead of paying $1,250, you'd end up paying only $975 if you're paying the full price upfront. All right. So you'll be enjoying the 25% discount as well as an extra discount, an extra gift from 10Alytics if you're paying the full price upfront. If you're also paying in 2 installments, right? So you pay the first half now, and then you pay the second half when the program has started, you actually get to enjoy that extra discount as well. However, anything beyond that, you'd only be enjoying the 20% discount. And like I said, you want to secure your slots today so you are amongst the first 20 people that actually enjoy this discount. Because as soon as all the slots are filled, it goes back to the original price. I can already see a couple of us are getting enrolled. A couple of us are already securing our slot. So kudos to all of you and welcome on board. And if you have not yet secured your slot, what you want to do is click on the link that my colleagues are already sharing in the chat and go on to secure your slot. All right, fantastic. Now I'm going to come back on the call and simply answer a couple of the questions. I'm going to let us to go on, to secure our slot. Go on to make payments. Once you select the installment, right, you can secure a slot with a minimal payment of $200, like I explained to us. That's the minimal installment. What you want to do is click on apply discounts. Once you've selected the installment plan you want to take, or should I go on for the full price? I mean, Sophie is a rich woman, so she can pay the full price upfront. Yeah. I know a lot of us are rich as well, but we have lots of other financial commitments. So the installmental payments makes things flexible and easier for you to go through the program. Now, once you have gone on to, select the payment plan you want to go on with, you actually have an opportunity to edit and select when the next payment is going to be coming up. All right. So ideally, the next payment should come in 1 month from now, which is today's the 21st. So that should be the 21st of March. But you have some extra buffer time, right? So you can actually extend it to go a little bit into the month of March, and you get to adjust when you want the next billing to come. All right. So you can adjust it to say, oh, I get paid on the 31st. I would like my next billing to be on the 1st of March. All right. I would like the next payments to go on the 1st of March, or I want it to go on the, maybe I get paid on the 5th. I want to pay on the 6th. Right. So you have the unique opportunity to adjust these dates, or you can just leave it the way it is. All right. You can just leave it the way it is. Leave the conventional dates that's currently there, and you're good. Okay, so once you have secured this, you can go on to save it. And once you're done with that, you can go on to secure your slot. You can go on to make payment. All right. What you want to do is click on pay now and make sure to check the box, right? Confirm all the information you've provided is correct. Confirm that you have read the terms and conditions, and I really encourage you to go over it. All right. So once you've checked the boxes, you can go on to pay now and you're good. All right. Once you go on, you can go on to secure your slots, select the best payment method for you, and go on to secure your slots. All right. I know some of us are already securing our slots already. All right. So if you've secured your slots, you can just type what program you got enrolled into. All right. Data analytics, cyber security, financial analytics, HR analytics, whatever track you're securing your slots in. I'd like for you to just type that in the chat while I go over the questions. And for those of us that are still in the process, just go through it. And once you're done, type in the track that you actually got enrolled on in the chat box. All right, so I'm just going to go through a couple of the questions and answer them for us. So Blessing says, hi, I'm Blessing. I'm completing MSc in business analytics and consulting. Between Amdari and analytics, which one should I enroll? I gave a similar answer to a question earlier. If you feel confident in your skills, you have the practical knowledge, you have the practical skills, you have, a good portfolio of projects you've worked on that you can actually showcase, or you have a solid track record in business analytics, then Amdari is the right track for you. Since you already have a prior background, you can easily go on for an internship and actually secure a job. But if you do not, then you actually want to go through the learning first. Learn this skill, get familiar with the practical knowledge, right? Get familiar with the practical knowledge, get familiar with the tools, enjoy all the other benefits. I mean, there are other benefits to just learning on the program, right? From CV review and revamp to, interview preparations that you get to enjoy from, right? So if you have solid knowledge, you have the skills, you know how to use these tools, then by all means, you can simply move on to Amdari, move straight into internship and, secure a slot, secure a job. Right. But if you do not have the practical skills, then I would really recommend going through a training first. And 10Alytics is your best bet. All right. I hope that answers your question. All right. So David says, please tell me if DevOps engineering include coding and product design. So DevOps engineering, yes, there's some level of coding because you are managing the life cycle. You're building pipelines for the development and deployment of models. All right. Deployment, development of applications as well. Right. So you're responsible for making sure that, we designed this application, is working on one computer, it's also working on the next one. If it's working on an Apple, it should also work on a Windows computer. We have everything put in place to make sure that the system or the application that we have designed is working in the way that we intended for it to work. At the same time, making sure that there are cycles for improving it, to look into, this is what we developed it to do. When we deployed it, it was performing well. How is it performing now? Do we need to improve it? So you need to have some coding skills. And generally, I would recommend if you have a prior coding skill, then the DevOps engineering track would be great for you. Now, for product design, it's minimal to coding. All right. There are no code tools that you are going to be learning how to leverage in order to design interfaces and tailor user experiences. All right. So DevOps, yes. Product design, not so much. All right. I hope that answers your question. Dogara says, how can I extend my next payment date on the platform? All right. So what you want to do, you want to extend that when going through the payment. All right. So when you are actually making the payment itself. I'm just going to take a step backward. So I show this to us. Oh, I have to start over. Okay, this time I'm going to use data engineering. It's the exact same process, all right, regardless. It's the exact same process. All right, click on buy now. It takes you to the next page, and then you select enroll now. All right, so we're on the next page, we select enroll now. And then after that, we provide the necessary details. So once you select, I'm going to select one-time payment. Okay, one-time payment would not give me an extra date since there's no follow-up installment. I'm going to select 2 installments. Click on apply now. The next payment should come 1 month from today. Today is the 21st of January. So the next payment should come on the 21st of February. But you actually have the opportunity to extend that. You have a little bit of buffer time. All right. So the next payment is meant to come on the 21st of February, as you can see. But what you want to do is, you see this part that says next payment date. All right. Once you've selected your installments you want to go for, click on apply discount. It brings you to this page. So you want to check here where it says next payment date. At the extreme right, you see where it says edit date. That's where you click on, and then you can go on to adjust the date. All right. Click on the button here, and I can pay on, say I get paid on the 1st, I can decide, oh, the next billing should be on the 2nd of March. And it goes on like that. All right. Okay, so Dogara says I already made a deposit. So you can reach out to someone from our team, right? I believe you're in communication with someone from our team. So just reach out to someone from our team and would help you to do that on our end. All right. Okay, fantastic. If you have secured your slot already, I would like for you to just type in the chat which one of the programs you got enrolled for. And if you are still securing your slot, just go on to type as well which one of the programs you are getting enrolled for, right? If you're maybe going to make your payments later on today, maybe tomorrow morning, later in the week, or you'd like to speak with us first, get some more guidance on how to make that final decision, fantastic. Okay, so we have Dogara who has secured his slot and would be enjoying the 20% discount. That's fantastic. Congratulations, Dogara, and welcome on board. All right, fantastic, fantastic. Blessing, have you also secured your slot? Osioma says, is AWS Architect under DevOps? No, it's not. Right? So you touch a bit of, cloud platform. Yes, actually, you'll be looking into cloud platforms on the DevOps track as well as the data engineering track. I don't know if you were listening to Tolu earlier, where he mentioned that he has skills that would actually allow him to look into, cloud engineering positions. So yes, you'd actually be learning a bit of, cloud engineering and how you can leverage cloud platforms like, GCP, Azure, and the likes of them. All right. Okay, it seems like we have a lot of people that already got getting, onboarded. We have Dogara, at least the ones I can see so far. Adi, confirming, are you on board? Osioma, also you as well. I think Blessing is going on to secure her slots. Fantastic, fantastic. All right, fantastic. I hope we had a wonderful time in today's session. I believe we've learned a lot. We've gathered a lot of information, and a lot of us are already getting into the space. Is there any chance for an aspiring full stack engineer? All right, for you, you can consider the data science or data engineering tracks. All right, if you're more interested in, pipelines, systems, and more interested in working in the background, then you might want to go towards data engineering. But if you want to actually build applications, build tangible and deployable products, then you would want to consider the data science track instead. All right. David, you can take data science and then move into DevOps. Ayokunle is asking what the pay for the jobs are. Do you have an alumni train group after training? Yes. So we have an alumni group, and we still, even share job openings, even in our alumni community. So while you're on the program, I've shown us how we make available premium jobs that we've scraped, from premium job sites that we have gone ahead to pay for. And even after your training, you are added into an alumni community, and we even share, job openings in those communities as well. All right. Now, as for the pay of the jobs, there's a bit of the information available on the slide deck that I presented today. To get access to that, just make sure that you fill the attendance form, and we would be reaching out to you and sharing that information with you. So you can go over the deck and you'd see much more extensive information as to, what the salary ranges are for the different tracks and how they compare across multiple regions, US, UK, Canada. And you just need to keep in mind also that these values can vary, right? Depending on the region you're working in, depending on the industry you're working in, and the likes of that. If you're working as a cyber security expert in a tech space, you're most likely going to earn more than someone who is working as maybe a cybersecurity expert at a school, right? So basically, there's nuances in how much you are likely going to earn depending on, the region you're working in, the sector, right? What industry you're working in, or even the company itself, right? You can compare prices between two tech companies, and one could be paying significantly higher, right? You could be working for a startup that would pay a lot less than if you're working for Google, for example, or Amazon in the same role, in the same position. So yeah, what you have there is just a median mean range of what to expect in the market. Okay, David says, I've enrolled for business analysis, hoping to switch to DevOps. That's perfect. You can actually make that transition. All right, we can actually make that transition. So the business analytics trains you on the operations side of things. And when you move into DevOps, you basically pick up the development and bridge that. All right, I'm guessing that's why you're asking about programming. All right, so if the data science builds up the dev part, and then during your DevOps, you bridge it with some operations. But for you, you are coming from operations and then bridging the dev part to DevOps. All right. It's been a wonderful evening. It's been a wonderful conversation. I'm sure we had a wonderful time, interacting in today's session. I'll be looking forward to catching up with us again once we get enrolled into the program. Take care, everyone. I hope we had a wonderful time. Bye for now. I'll see you soon.